must have. Little Tarzan over here. Just waiting for a few people to collect, man. Grab some popcorn.
It's your boy, Sick is Full.
Week 18
Week
preview.
18 preview.
What it do, Coach? How you feeling, my guy?
What up, Coach?
Onside kicking it as always, man. This is a Week 18 preview. First off, let's talk about it this way, man. Damar Hamlin, beautiful thing to see his recovery going very smooth. Love the fact that he was able to write. I'm sure without the breathing apparatus, he'd probably be able to talk right now. So that's pretty amazing to see his progress, man. Obviously, our prayers go out to him. Super happy to see. JL Poker, what's going on?
Bro, what's up, Jay Scoops?
Is that Jay Scoops?
That's Jay Scoops, man. The crusher of all crushers. Can I say something right now? Sorry to put you on blast, but this guy felted Johnny Chan last night. You know who Johnny Chan is?
Of course I know who Johnny Chan is.
So he just basically
Professional poker player. My guy's a beast.
back main event champion, and this fool just felted him. Like, just took all his chips. And
Hey, I'm not going to lie. He bluffed you yesterday. I saw on the live. See, he might. I
8-6
apologize,
was
Coops.
possible.
You folded Jacks.
Jacks, yeah.
Yeah.
This is my boy. He's coming after
I
me,
seen it,
like,
bro, and I can tell too. It was like the respect to drop those jacks. I saw it. I was like, all right, I'm gonna respect him. And then he made a really good fold, 2-to-1 pot odds. I think it was like 6 racks to call. And you had top and bottom beat. You had trip sixes and a 6-9 offsuit,
straight.
which was the straight.
Yeah.
And everyone didn't think you had a
Bro, this guy's
6.
so good. And I don't know if you
He's
saw,
sick.
On the other hand, I had pocket threes, and the board was ace, 10, 6, 3, 2 flushes, and then he folded ace queen.
Hey,
Like, this guy's a professional.
this guy Scoops knows what it is, bro.
He's a crusher. So
Speaking of poker, man, all bullshit aside, man, make sure you check AJ out. He goes live on, is this Bicycle, right?
yeah, YouTube live at the bike.
Live at the bike, /live at the bike.
Yes, sir.
This is a sports show. Yeah, believe it or not, this is a sports show.
This is a kicking it show, bro. We're just kicking it.
Yeah,
That's
we
it, man.
onside kicking it. Exactly, bro.
That's it.
But yeah, so if you're new to the channel, man, make sure you guys subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. It's me. I am Ghost_AF. Obviously, this is the co-host at Sick is Fool. Remember this much, you guys, at Sick is Fool does have a YouTube channel he just started that he's going to start bringing you guys some dope-ass content. More importantly, you could catch his dog, his pit bull skateboarding on there right now. Super sick-ass channel to be. Make sure you follow us no matter what type of platform and you use socials wise, and we can Instagram, we got Twitter, we got obviously YouTube, and we also got TikTok, not for nothing. So make sure you follow us on all channels, and whatever channel you ultimately use to get your content, we're on it, most importantly. Without further ado, man, there's no Thursday night football. Normally we're previewing our Thursday night football tonight, but obviously last week was the last Thursday night football game. So the first game of the season, of week 18, I should say, comes Saturday morning. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is that the Titans and Jags first?
No, Chiefs Raiders started off.
Chiefs Raiders.
I like this game. Obviously, I like the Chiefs. Before we actually get into all the games, we'll talk about the AFC and the NFC, what's going on. We really don't know as far as what's going to happen with seeding. Chiefs are in a bad situation going into this week, needing the Bills to lose. If that game gets wiped out, now they're kind of in the lead for the AFC, so now they're in the driver's seat. So, we're talking about poker. I think that's kind of a bad beat for the Bills, just being in the driver's seat and then not even losing to lose that thing. So Chiefs are playing for a lot. It's a divisional game. As far as my pick goes, this is an easy pick for me as well, too, because Stidham balled out. He was a complete upgrade from Carr, but I don't really think he's an upgrade from Carr. I think it was a locker room thing. It was a hype thing. It was like, okay, he's out there. It did do it against the Niners defense, which is the top-rated defense. But I think that's kind of factoring into that over-under this week, and they're kind of setting it a little higher than it should be.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, let's face it. When you're a brand new QB and there's absolutely zero footage out there for your tendencies, I think it's extremely common to ball out that first game. And you get humbled real fast in this league. Not for nothing. It is against the Niners defense. The Chiefs defense is obviously not the Niners, but they are more than capable of shutting that down. So I am curious to see how he plays. I'm with you. I'm with you on the 49. No, I think that's the other one. Yeah, you doubled me up.
You guys hear me or you guys can't hear
No,
me?
yeah, you can't hear me. Hit that top one off because you got me doubled. Yeah, now scroll down. Scroll down a little bit. Now say something.
Test, 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 test. I don't think so.
For real?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm supposed to be audio input. What's up, Omar? Omar.
Try it again.
Yo, test, 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 test.
Yeah, that's you. That's wild.
I was probably raised. I don't know. All right, what's up, Omar? And then even Jay Scoops, man. I was saying some things. I don't know if you could hear me or not, but
Luckily,
I
we're
guess-
this close. Hopefully, it picked up on my mic.
Yeah,
man.
exactly. So, yeah, what's up, Omar? Omar is a friend of high school. He's actually a big poker player, so he was watching yesterday. He kind of shouted me out. I made a sick call Fox Sports. Let's get out of that. Go back to the game.
Yeah, man, to answer your question, though, man, I think I see why you are liking the under, Mr. Undertaker himself. Because, yeah, I think they're taking that into consideration. This guy did this against the Niners defense, yada, yada, yada. But I agree. I think the Chiefs just got a new life with this game being in limbo between the Bills and the Bengals. I think both teams kind of got the shaft because the Bengals were in a position also, if they were to hang on to that lead and beat the Bills, albeit it was only one drive apiece. I think the Chiefs also are in a position where, or the Bengals are also in a position where if the Chiefs lose, they get the first seed also. So it's definitely a mess. I have heard some rumors about AFC Championship game just being at a neutral site. So that's kind of cool if you take that into consideration. You might get a couple home games, and then you get to the game before the Super Bowl, and everyone's on the road per se. So definitely a clusterfuck, if you know what I mean. But I think most importantly, man, I think the best news of the day was really hearing that DeMar was able to actually ask the question, who won the game? That's how much it's been unprecedented times. Even he thought there's no way they don't finish that game. And in that state of mind, for that to be one of your first questions, man, just shows that he's all upstairs. He's doing well, and that's fucking amazing. If they cancel the game, the Bengals will get hosed with the 3 seed. If they cancel the game entirely, yeah, 0-0, cancel it out entirely, that's a fact. Same with the tie. They can't possibly move up from the 3rd seed either if they just put it as a tie. Definitely,
It's a tough situation.
It's tough.
I mean, for the Bills and for the Bengals, of course. And then I think the Chiefs got the best deal out of it because they needed some help, and now they're in the driver's seat.
I'm also hearing rumblings about them possibly having a 8-team playoff with no bye week for anybody at this point. Like I'm hearing like, hey, you know what? Chiefs shouldn't get rewarded, so now they don't get a bye week. They're going to play the 8th seed, and now between the Patriots, Dolphins, and Steelers, 2 of them could technically get that 7th and 8th seed now.
Yeah, I don't
Who
know.
knows?
I don't want to be too speculative. So, but as far as the game goes, under 52, Chiefs don't like to cover spreads. We know that. If I had to pick, I would obviously take the Chiefs -9, but I don't feel comfortable laying money on them. So I do feel comfortable with the under 52. What do you think?
I mean, just because, again, it kind of reminds me of that Purdy situation where I just don't know enough about this guy, and if he's really slinging it around, I heard he's saying it's my house and all this kind of shit, so he's hyped up like no other. Maybe one of those Nick Foles type of guys that finally gets the shot and does something with it. So that kind of bothers me with the over-under. I would assume Vegas would kind of keep that into consideration that this guy's brand new, but who knows? So I actually like the Chiefs minus the 9.5 points because I believe now that they have that newfound life and there hasn't been an official decision made, I think they're going to try and blow the lights off this team and then try and get that bye week in the second half almost. So I can see them really trying their hardest to run the score up early, stomp on their necks, take their foot off the gas, bench some key players in the 4th quarter, and that could be their potential bye week just in case they are forced to play an 8 seed. So that's my take on it. I like the Chiefs minus the 9.5.
I agree. That's why I'm taking the under mostly. So
Yes, Coach, that is wishful thinking. That's a fact.
All right, going on to the next game, which is a win and get in. Titans versus Jaguars. Good game on paper. Unfortunately, the Titans don't really have a quarterback. They're going with Dobbs over, so with no Tannehill, no Willis.
I know Dobbs very well. He's never got a chance to start in the Steelers uniform. I saw him officially start for the first time ever last week, and it was a primetime game, if I'm not mistaken. And he didn't play bad. He definitely looked poised out there. He definitely was showing some frustration, which is kind of cool. That means he definitely excited for his opportunity. But the Jags defense has been balling. And to be quite honest with you, so is their offense. They're scoring touchdowns on defense and offense, no problem. They were basically able to shut down last week at half. And I just don't understand how the Tennessee Titans. I get it. They're going to have Derrick Henry back. Maybe that'll help Dobbs out significantly on not being so one-dimensional. But I just don't see who can cool off the Jags. It's definitely not going to be, the Tennessee Titans at that. So I think the line -6.5. I kind of like the Jags to throttle them.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a division game, so who knows, right?
Divisional playoff game. On paper, I do like the Jags a lot, but the thing is, the Jags are just really young and inexperienced. Just as far as how long this team has been playing together and how
Yeah, there you go.
maybe for how long this team has been together and how long they've been playing well. It hasn't been that long, so these types of matchups and these types of games are not guaranteed. They can just come up in there and they could be a close game. So the key factor of this game that I'm going to be using as what I'm going to pick to make my decisions is coaching. Mike Vrabel. I love him. I think he's a great coach. He's going to want to make this game competitive. How do you make this game competitive with Josh Dobbs? You get a gritty ball control game, run the ball, play good defense, limit them as much as you can. Just contain Lawrence, contain the Jags, and the Jags do have a high-powered offense. But then there's been times where they've kind of went really stagnant and not scored points. So the only chance they really have is just basically shutting them out. And then, for example, the Titans, they're AFC contenders. For the last couple of years, they were up there, like number 1 seed, playoffs, and that was with Tannehill. So they have a core team. They're not as healthy as they should be, but they do all the right things right. And again, it goes back to coaching. I think if they do somehow magically win this game, or they cover spread, I'd see it being possible just because I see it being a competitive game, because I don't think the Jaguars are that next level elite team. But now say they move on and then they play some of these better teams. Yeah,
See, I think this is.
And I think Jaguars have a better chance of making a deeper run if they
Yes.
stay hot, But I just see
Yes.
this kind of be kind of a trap game where the Titans could cool down the Jags, basically. The Jags aren't the Chiefs. They're not the Bills. They're not the Bengals. They're not, even like the Cowboys. I would kind of compare them more to like, I don't know. I don't even want to talk
It's
about it.
uncomparable. I mean, honest to God, dude, you look at the leaps and bounds that Trevor Lawrence is taking. He's like becoming an irrelevant, next up and coming superstar. He's becoming like in the Herbert and Burrow, like in their shadow, and he's kind of trying to poke his fucking head out of there and show himself. So this is a huge test for me to really start to pass some judgment on this guy. Is this guy going to be a fucking baller that we talk about for years to come, or is he just going to be those Phillip Rivers type of dudes that potentially can end a Hall of Famer, but just never get his opportunity to take a team far? So I think they win this game, and I like the 6.5 points. I genuinely do. This is the time where I'm thinking this is where they showed the league they're grown men.
Yeah.
This is it.
And like I said, I don't think Vrabel's going to back down, even though
Yeah,
he's not on paper. He's not ready to play this game. They know that. They know that they're going to be the underdogs. They know that, so they're not coming in there just going to.
Is it in Jacksonville?
It's in Jacksonville, yeah. And don't get me wrong. I think the Jaguars should win on paper. I just think it's just divisional. They're both kind of tier 2 teams. They're not either one of them is not a tier 1 team that I think
Tier 3.
Exactly. Like
Yeah,
I don't want to say
tier 3.
tier 3. I mean, Jags are playing a little bit better. Titans are playing a little bit worse, but yeah, they're kind of in that area. So anything could happen. It's a playoff game, divisional game. So all right, going on to Sunday, Bucks versus Falcons, another divisional game. Bucks don't have anything to play for. Falcons don't either. So the Falcons are favored by 4, and the over/under set at 40. What do you think of the game in the line?
I'll be honest, I'm really confused about this one because on one hand, they're practicing like all systems go because the Bucks feel like they just haven't been fluid on offense and they know they're not getting the bye week. So rather than them taking this bye week for their older players to kind of heal, they're actually starting them. I don't know how long they're going to play. So that kind of puts me in a weird position to call something, but it's odd, right? It's like I understand where they're coming from, but it's also like, is it worth it?
Like this, I mean, really quickly, I want to shout out the chat, Mad Capper and Sean.
What did it do, Sean? What did it do, Matt Capper?
Appreciate you guys always being out here with us. I think it's just Vegas knows too much, and the lines know something. So it's like on paper, oh yeah, we're gonna go out, we're gonna start our guys, we're gonna play 100%, we're trying to get in a rhythm. Then there should be no way the Bucks aren't favored. If this is like week 14. The Bucks have been just shut out 3 games in a row, playing sloppy. Everyone's sleeping on Brady. We're going to be like, okay, yeah, maybe we're going to give Falcons a slight edge at home just because it's a divisional game. The Falcons were hot in the beginning of the year,
Right.
but that's not the case anymore, right? Falcons have nothing to play for. I don't want to say the Bucs are clearly a better team, but with Tom Brady and what they're capable of doing in the 2-minute drill, they're obviously a better team. You know, that's what's going to get you farther. So for the Falcons to be favored by 4 points says that they know something that we don't know
With
necessarily.
no QB at that either. It's not like they have their full
That's what,
season.
yeah, they're not like, yeah, so I don't know. That's kind of off. Over under 40.
This is a game where, for me, it's easy as fuck. Fuck the spread, fuck the points, fuck the money line. Give me the under of 40 points. They're not putting up more than 10 points per quarter as a fact. And to me, this is just my my lock of the week under-wise.
Yeah, I would take the under too. I mean, if I had to pick, I would say, like, I don't know, man. If Tom Brady was out in the fourth quarter playing for something, I'm 100% riding Bucks. But we don't know if he's going to finish the game. And if he's not, then they're not going to have that last-minute scoring drive. So I would stay away from the spread. The one thing, if I had to pick, I would still take the Bucks plus 4.
Right,
Just
seriously.
hoping that Brady gets 1 or 2 touchdowns just to get that offense rolling, to show like, hey, we still have
Sit
it.
him out real
And then
quick.
the defense does scheme and show that like, hey, we got it too. So I would take the Bucks plus 4, and then also the under of 40, but realistically not touching either one of them.
Yeah, I like the under only.
Okay.
Straight up.
And then moving on. And by the way, Matt Capper, who you like this week? I like hearing your picks and who you're leaning towards. So, and then we know Sean obviously wants to talk about the Dolphins, but we'll get into that in a little bit. Next game, Patriots and Bills. Bills playing at home, -7. Over under set at 42.5. We talked about this a little bit, how the Bills are kind of getting shafted from being in the driver's seat and controlling their own destiny to not doing that anymore, not really controlling their own destiny. So, I mean, it's a little bit of a tough line. I think it's set pretty well with -7 and 42.5. What do you think?
A lot of emotions are riding. Hearing that your teammate asked if you won that game or not, to me, it really genuinely feels like they're going to come out blazing. Like blazing. I don't care if it's the Patriots defense even. I think defensively, offensively, it's going to be all systems a go. They want to at least lock in that 2 seed if at all possible for them to do so, with still the backdoor chance of getting the 1 seed or having that, you know, that week 17 the AFC Championship possibly being you know.
Do the Patriots have a chance getting in or no?
Yes, Patriots win and the Dolphins lose, they're in.
Okay.
If the Patriots lose, then it's between the Dolphins and the Steelers. If the Dolphins win, they need the Patriots to lose. If the Patriots win, they need the Dolphins to lose. The Steelers
Okay, so I
need
mean,
both of
they're
those
going
teams
to go,
to
yeah, they're going at it, and basically the Jets, you know, okay, we'll talk about the Jets and the Dolphins in a bit. And
Yeah, but Patriots-Bills game for me, dude, it's a lot of points. But last time they played, which again, it's hard to sweep, that was on the road in Foxborough, and they pretty much dominated them in the second half. So, again, this is not the Patriots of the old. They really haven't looked too strong on any aspect of the game. I got to take the Bills minus the 7 points. And I don't really like the over-under at all, to be quite honest with you.
yeah, if I had to pick, I would take the Bills -7. Reason is because obviously what happened with DeMar and just the team, you know, rallying together. And also, they got kind of a bye week. You know, they didn't
Yeah.
play last week, so they're kind of rested. They're
Yeah.
emotional. They, you know, they want to get ready for playoffs. So I'll
Here's
take the
another thing,
-7,
too.
not touching the over/under.
Here's another thing, and I know it's not that crazy of a prediction, so I'm not trying to sound like some fucking idiot savant or some guru or messiah or something. But I really think the Bills win it all this year now, because so many times I've seen this where, you know, Kobe Bryant passed away. LA wins the next championship. You look at the floods in Texas. Houston Astros won that year. What about Hurricane Katrina? New Orleans Saints won that year. You see these big impactful moments where not just your city, but a lot of other people and the energy around the organization as a whole, there's an extra dimension to this shit sometimes. And sometimes you go, oh man, is it fixed? Like they just want to bring in as much money as they can, and without, you know, donating their hard-earned money, they can just have some of those home games be played in Buffalo, and that already gets more merchandise sold, and just the economy for that particular environment does better. And that's why they do it for like natural disasters and whatnot. But even like deaths, it's just this energy and this love that you have. It's like when your team gets knocked out, who's not pulling for the Bills now? You know what I mean? It's like, oh man, my team's out, man. Good. If anyone wins, I hope it's the Bills, what they've gone through this year. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. I think the Bills are going to run the table from here on out, unfortunately.
And I don't want to sound unsensitive, but I'm a Chiefs fan. You know, it's gonna be tough to beat the Chiefs, and just going back on, like you said, conspiracies and different things. the league's fake. They could be doing this on purpose. Like, oh yeah, like, we could give Mahomes the 1 seed and we could have the playoffs go through the Chiefs. Like, oh
Sure.
yeah, let's just do that instead
Yeah.
of going to Buffalo. Because like, I'm not, like I said, that's a far-fetched conspiracy. I don't want to sound insensitive and not care about what's happening.
If
on
they
the
play
field.
each other in the postseason, Bills and Chiefs, we'll put money on it. You and I.
And it's in the Chiefs?
Yeah, whatever. I don't
Easy,
care where it is.
easy.
Yeah, I don't care where it is.
And especially because it'll be close to money line too. It's not
Yeah,
gonna
we'll
be
put
like
money
that.
on it. Win or loss, no point,
Yeah.
no spread, just
So-
money on it.
Yeah. Okay. So taking that, moving on to the next game: Vikings versus the Bears. Vikings minus 7.5. Bears over under set at 43. What do you think of the game?
Bears just dropped Justin Fields. He's no longer playing. To me, that means I think the Vikings have to take this game, believe it or not, but the Vikings do still have a reason to push. They can either lock in second or third seed, I believe. If the Eagles lose and the Cowboys win, they become the 1 seed. Eagles become the 2nd seed. Vikings become the 3rd seed. I think there's also the Niners in the mix. So I think seeding purposes, you'd love to have a home game. So I think they're going to still play hard. And considering their competition doesn't have the one guy that even kept them afloat, I don't see how the Bears can keep anything going in this game. So as long as the Vikings are starting their starters and they have a chance to move up in seeding, I'll take the minus 7.5, no problem. Over under kind of bothers me a bit. Once again, it's the low 40s. And considering I don't know how the Bills are going to put up points, the Bears are going to put up points without Justin Fields, I think it's hard for a team to put up 40 themselves. So I like the under 43, but most importantly, I like the Vikings minus 7.5 against the Bears.
Yeah, I mean, without Fields, I'm going to go under 43. I just don't see how the Bears can score points. And
Exactly.
then, obviously, the Vikings' offense is good. Their defense is suspect. But I don't see the Bears coming out and really making this game competitive.
Exactly.
So their defense will do their job, and then their offense might just coast. So I would go under 43. Moving on to the next game, Ravens versus Bengals. Divisional game. Bengals are favored by 7. Over under set at 40.5. What's your thoughts on the playoff position
Again, this is
situation?
another one that's very ironic because remember, the Ravens win this game. If the Chiefs, if the Bengals don't get a win in their win column from the game and the Ravens beat them, they technically can win the division and get a home game,
Wow. Get Lamar back, a home game, all this, all that.
right? If they just disqualify the game and there's no loss on their belt, then the Bengals win the division with the win. So it's really ironic. I think the Bengals still get the division, depending on how they chalk this up. But if there's no win in the win column, you have to ask yourself, they don't have the extra
Is Lamar
loss. So
coming back,
I
or
don't know
Lamar's not
what.
playing, do you know?
Lamar's supposed to be back this week. Lamar's supposed to be back this week. He's supposed to be back this week. Now again though, do you play Lamar if you can't win the division?
If you can't win the division, no, I don't play Lamar.
Well, if
I
the
can
league
win-
doesn't announce exactly what it's doing, then you might not know if you can win the division. Do you play him or no? Give me one second.
I'm not sure. That's a tough question. I mean, I think without knowing,
It's difficult, right?
yeah, without knowing if he's going to play or not, let's see what it says. Lamar Jackson remains silent for Thursday's practice. At this point, it's fair to wonder if Jackson will even be ready for the wild card round. It's clear that becomes the Ravens' sole goal with their franchise player. There's very little chance he's out there Sunday against the Bengals. The formal rule-out figures will come out Friday. So yeah, he's been absent from practice. He hasn't been practicing, so he's looking as he's not going to play. Yeah, so don't feel comfortable at all taking the Ravens on the road with not too much to play for without Lamar. So, and then again, speaking on that, it's the Bengals having a mini bye, having their game canceled against the Bills, and then also a lot of emotion going through their team too. You know, that was tough for them to go through, and a lot of their players and stuff, and they bonded together. So it's not just a one way, thing. It's a joint, a joint feeling between the Bills and the Bengals. So I think that's going to inspire the Bengals players a little bit too. So if I had to pick, we're going Bengals minus 7, and then so basically Lamar's projected not to play. He hasn't been
They have him as
practicing.
doubtful now?
Questionable, but he hasn't practiced all week, and they said that most likely they're going to rule him out tomorrow. I was saying because the Bengals, and like I said, they're linked to the Bills game, and they're emotional, they're players. I'm going Bengals minus 7 and under 40.5 points because I don't think the Ravens could score anything against the Bengals.
You know what? We've played the Ravens with Huntley, and he's actually played fairly well. He's very difficult to get a sack on. very squirmish in the backfield. Moving the ball is a whole different story. You know what I mean? So 40.5 is extremely low. I gotta sit this one out. I gotta just do something very simple. If Lamar plays, I'm taking the over and the Ravens plus the 7, because even though I think the Bengals win, those AFC North divisions are just ridiculous.
If he's playing, I'm clearly taking the Ravens plus 7. But I don't think he's playing. And then all right, moving on. Next game, boring game on paper. Texans versus Colts, -2.5. Over under set at 38. Who do you like in this game? They're missing nothing.
Texans, Texans and Colts. Look, dude. Texans, what do they have? 2 wins all year?
Something like that.
1 or 2 wins all year. I can't stand games like this. I genuinely can't. So I'll roll with the under 38.5. Is it 38? Yeah, I'll roll the under 38. I think it's going to be hard for these two teams to score. I got a naked baby on the loose.
I'm actually going to go the opposite. I'm going to go the over of 38 just because both teams have nothing to play for, so they're going to want to show out and score some points, just get their team hyped. There's not going to be that much defense. Obviously, they'll try, but both teams have actually played decent of late. Not anything to get into playoffs or anything like that, but, So yeah, definitely taking the under, so we're opposite on those picks. So
what's the next game?
Next game, we got Jets and Dolphins. What's the playoff situation for this one?
Okay, so Jets and Dolphins. Jets win. Patriots lose. Jets win. Patriots lose. Steelers lose. Jets are in.
3 things. It's a lot.
Dolphins win, and the Bills beat the Patriots. Dolphins are in.
So they're good chance.
They got everything to play for.
Steelers need the Patriots and the Dolphins to lose.
Yep.
Yeah, so Dolphins have everything to play for, so that's an easy. Who's playing quarterback? 2 is out, huh? It's concussion still.
Last time I heard, I heard he got one last opportunity to maybe possibly get the start, but it's not looking good. Sean, this is your squad, man. As a Dolphin fan, is Tua playing? Is he suiting up, man? I think he's doubtful, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's doubtful. So Bridge, and it's even odd to say because we don't know. Bridgewater went down also.
Yeah, it's either him or it's Skyler. They don't know, but I just think from a team perspective, I think the Dolphins, even though they haven't been playing well, they have a lot to play for, and they have the hope of Tua. If they win this game, Tua could come back. It's not like a knee injury or something where it's like he could come back at full health next week with time off, with a new sense of clarity, all that, not undermining concussions. But the Jets are not as good as I thought they were. They started off the year strong. It was mostly from their defense, and then they had occasional games where their offense came out and showed out. But then now I think they've kind of digressed on the offensive plays. Their defense is obviously good, but
don't forget they lost Mike White for a few games there in between, and then this was his first game back. That first game back is brutal, especially as a signal caller. I know part of me is with my heart, I do want the Dolphins to lose this game, but I think the Jets are actually more complete based upon their defense has been top tier, like top 8 in the league in almost every category. And if you're not going against Bridgewater or Tua, in my opinion, the Jets actually they roll. If Bridgewater does come in, he's a decent game manager. I think they stand a chance to win that game. But I'm actually liking the Jets in this game. Not even just with my heart, just in general. I'll take 2 points all day.
Yeah, I'm taking the Dolphins. I mean, I know, like I said, Mike White did good, but that was more so for fantasy and just sheer volume. Like, he didn't really transform that team or really turn him into, just anything star power. He was an upgrade from Zach Wilson, but he's nothing really special. So, I'm taking the Dolphins, -2. What's up, girls? So, next game, Panthers Saints. Nothing to play for, huh?
Panthers Saints. Nothing to play for.
Nothing to play for. Over under. So all right, 3.5 Saints, 42 over under. What do you like?
Panthers have pretty much had nothing to play for all year.
Yeah.
And they just keep bringing everything close.
Well, they have Sam Darnold and just the team camaraderie. So I
like the Panthers.
We'll spend too much time. I don't like the I like the over 42 because I think these games they have nothing to play for. offense, wants to go out and show out. Defense is going to be a little bit more relaxed. My theory, at least, it could be the other way around. But I would have to go over 42.
What's up, sis? Nice to see you on here, JoJo Love.
Okay, and then last game of the morning slate, Browns versus Steelers. Steelers favorite 2.5 points, over under set at 40. If you want to go ahead and go over the players Steelers situation to get in, what that is, and
Yeah, man. So I know Coach was clowning me, saying that we just want that 8th seed. Yeah, if there was 8 seeds, I'd like our chances that much more. But I mean, realistically speaking, we've needed a lot to happen prior to this week. We started off 2-6, and we came out of the bye week so far 6-2. No. Yeah. So as far as the Steelers go, we've needed a lot to happen, including starting at 2-6. So from the bye week since then, we've been 6-2. We're in a really good position now because last week we needed the Dolphins to lose to the Jets. We needed the Patriots to beat the Dolphins, actually, is what it was, and they did. So now we need those same Patriots to lose, and they're playing the Bills, which have a lot to play for. So everything's kind of panning in. Yeah, shout out to Coach, man. You're waiting for the jersey to arrive. We had that side bet going. I'm waiting for my funds to arrive, man. When are you going to pay me those funds, man? That whopping couple $100, I think it came out to. But yeah, man, they got their 7 wins. Shout out to the Steelers. Look, they're playing for not only to go 9-8, have that winning season for Tomlin, like we talked about prior, but there is an outside chance they make the postseason. I think the Bills are more than capable of beating the Patriots, and most importantly, the Dolphins without Tua are more than capable of losing to the Jets. So as much as we'd love to have an 8th seed available to us and possibly jump in that way, I secretly think we're about to fuck around and steal this 7th seed, man. I really do.
I have all the circumstances, obviously, like the Dolphins, just because they have their own
winning, not really though. They still need Bills to beat the Pats.
Yeah. So, but still, that's a good matchup. So, but again, it's a good matchup on paper. I like the Steelers 2.5. I think they want that winning season. Again, they're playing for a lot more for Tomlin, for everything we've been talking about this. So, it's an easy call. -2.5. Browns don't have anything to play for.
Yeah, that's
I would also go under 40.5 just because the Browns' offense has been a little stagnant, and also a divisional game. They would like to play spoiler, so they're going to come out. They're not going to just be a walk in the park. So, sometimes Pickett he has charisma, but he sometimes doesn't drive the ball effectively and efficiently down the field. So a couple stall drives, I see that going under 40.5.
Agree with both of those. Definitely love the Steelers -2.5 more than everything.
All right, going to 1 o'clock. Chargers, Broncos, divisional game. Chargers don't have anything to play for. Broncos don't have anything to play for. Broncos are favored 2.5.
Chargers can't move up at all?
No.
Seating wise?
No, they're set. They're locked in. So, over under 40.
Are they playing their starters?
Chargers? I mean, the line's going to say no. There's no reason.
Right?
Yeah. You already know, Sean.
The Undertaker's is
Hey, but tell me
nickname,
the
man.
under hasn't been hitting in all these games, though. Like, it's just... Yeah, I mean, Broncos are going to come out playing hard, but... Let's see what it says as far as they're going to bench their players. A little update.
I kind of like Matt Capper on this one because the Broncos are playing for pride. They've been embarrassed all season. All season, man. So I can 100% say that even them just getting that 5th win is going to be so much better for them to end on a high note and finish the season off with a dub. They've already paid a lot of money for Russell. He's staying there. That's the way I see it. I kind of like that as well. Again, if the Chargers aren't starting people. If they're not starting Herbert.
So basically, the Chargers game comes down to the... If Cincinnati beats Baltimore, the Bulls will wrap up the 5th seed regardless of what happens against the game. And if the Ravens beat them, then they're going to have to play to get that 5 seed.
And they're going to know prior to the game. So they're performing. They're going to start the starters, that means.
They're planning on starting the starters.
Yeah,
In
they're
case
going to start the
Ravens-
starters just in case. And
Yeah.
if the Ravens beat the Bengals,
Then they have to.
then they can actually move up, right?
No, then they can move down.
If the Bengals beat the Ravens, then they drop one
No,
seed.
then they're locked in.
The Bengals beat the Ravens, they're locked in no matter what.
Yes.
If the Ravens upset the Bengals,
then they have
then
to,
they actually have a reason to play to jump up a seed.
No, to lock in then they can get pushed down to the. If they don't win, they'll get pushed down to.
Oh, the Ravens in wild card ultimately are beating the Chargers in wild card
Exactly,
because the Chiefs are winning the
Yeah,
division.
so then they'll push down. So exactly. So, yeah. So overall, I mean, I wouldn't really touch. If I had to pick, I would just go with the over in this one, 40, just because the Chargers offense is going to prepare as if they're going to have to score a lot of points. The Broncos are only playing to not have a 13-loss losing season. And they've actually been fighting in these games with Russell Wilson. And obviously everyone's, the Broncos are trash, but they're not giving up. They're not giving up on themselves. They're not giving up on Russell Wilson. The way they play the Chiefs, I'm taking the over of 40. All right, next game, Giants-Eagles. Eagles minus 14, 43. They need a win to get to the 1 seed. What do you think?
Eagles are finally rolling Hurts out. I think they mollywop the Giants, man. I really do. It's a 14-point favorite, which is just absolutely disturbing. But I think that's ultimately because at this point the Giants would need so many things to happen that they ultimately have no chance. I think is what it comes down to. Am I correct on this?
To what? I mean, they're playing. They're locked in. I think they can't.
Giants can't make the playoffs at all.
No, they're in the playoffs. They're locked up a seed.
Oh, they locked up the 6th seed.
Yeah, they're in no matter what.
They got nothing to play for.
They got nothing to play for.
So, still, 14 points is a lot, man. That's a fucking lot in a division game. Over under 43. I mean, bro, I have to take. I have to take the fucking over of 43 points, just thinking that maybe the Eagles are going to want to put him out early and kind of get a little bit of a mini bye week for Hurts. So I'll take the over 43 uncomfortably.
So I'm going to go opposite under 43, and my reason is the same thing. If they do decide to rest players, both teams, it's going to go under. And then also, if you're going to run a vanilla package, I would run a very vanilla offense over a vanilla D. I mean, you're
But
going to
the Eagles have to win this game.
I know.
They have to.
So they're going to go out, they're going to try to score, but like I said, they could
How
rest,
many points
they could
would you
drop.
feel comfortable with?
From the Eagles?
Yeah, like what would be the score at halftime for you to be comfortable to bench him?
28-0.
Okay. I like over.
But then I just feel like for example, the Giants, they're not going to want to use their best plays.
Yeah, they're not.
They're not going to try to go out there and score a bunch of points. So it's like, yeah, they might get in, they might move the ball. Then we're just going to run a very vanilla. Like, obviously, they run just defensive schemes, like a basic defensive package. So,
Hey, what it do, Schmedium? Nice to see you in here, bro.
So, okay. Moving on to the next game. Cardinals versus 49ers. Again, another really big point spread. The 49ers are 14-point favorites. Over under set at 40.5. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, Cardinals are out of it.
Yeah, Cardinals have been out.
Who do you like? Over under 14.5. Over under 40.5.
I mean, 49ers are technically playing for the 1 seed. I think Coach was talking about that up there. If the Eagles lose and the Niners win, they get the 1st seed. So they got to do pedal to the metal as well, because they won't officially know because the games play at the same time. So I like the Niners. I believe James Conner might not be rolled out this week, which means they literally have no one going at all. 0. And I think that to win by more than 14 in these circumstances is going to be a walk in the park if that's the case. But I also heard Christian McCaffrey was questionable. Is that accurate?
I don't know. Let's check. Yeah, I mean, I think logically I would take the under just because of how good this 49ers defense is. Kyle Murray and the Cardinals not really having much to play for. And then obviously Purdy's good. He's a good game manager, but he's not an offensive superstar who's going to go out there and throw. Like, he could. I'm not saying he can't put up a lot of points, but
Yeah, I like the under in this one. This is the one I do like. Niners can also lose the 2nd seed with a loss and a Vikings win. Exactly. So they got to put the pedal to the metal. I take it back, man. I got Niners minus 14 in this one. I think their defense scores as well.
Yeah, I know DNP. So they might sit McCaffrey.
I think they might sit him, but I think ultimately Elijah Mitchell comes back. That's why they can.
Yeah, I mean, I think,
So-
and they give him some reps, get him the thing.
Yeah, I
so.
say 14 points Niners. I'll take that. I'll take that
I'm
spread.
taking under 40.5. Let's go on to the next game. Rams, Seahawks. Seahawks minus 6. Over under set 41.5. And by the way, what's up with Matt Capper? Why do you like all these underdogs? The Commanders and the Rams. What's your logic? What's your theory of why you're taking like the Rams against the
Oh,
Seahawks?
and Debo's returning.
So what is it? What do you like? Rams or Seahawks? I mean, what do the Seahawks have to play for? They have a chance to get
They
in?
have an outside chance to make the postseason. They need the Lions to beat the Packers.
Okay.
And then if the Lions beat the Packers, they would jump to the seventh seed, I guess.
Yeah.
Because the Lions win, they need the Seahawks to lose. If the Packers win, they're in. So that would mean the Seahawks can technically get the seventh seed. Yeah, they own the seventh seed, but it's weird because if the Lions win, they're like 64% favorites to make the postseason because they win, they're in. The Seahawks can win and still not keep that seventh seed just based upon conference records as the tiebreaker. And because the Packers would be beating the NFC against the Lions, they'd have a better NFC record, so therefore they'd squeeze in. So, yeah, they're playing to win the game and at least give themselves the opportunity to get in with the Detroit Lions win.
Yeah, this is an easy call. I would go over 41.5 only because even though the Rams have nothing to play for, their defense is not there with Aaron Donald, and Baker Mayfield has been showing that he can score some points, and he wants us to go out there and score points just to make himself look good. So
Absolutely.
And then obviously Geno, being the offensive player that he is, making the passes they are, having something to play for, he's going to want to go out there and score some points. So
I'm actually going
41.5.
I'm actually going with an upset here. I'll
You
tell you
Matt
why.
Capper?
Yeah, I'll tell you why. I want the Rams to win because this means the Lions and the Packers would actually be playing for the chip to get into the AFC to the playoffs. Right? So ultimately, that also gets them out of the guaranteed to be out of the playoffs, which gives your boy CMC an outside lane to comeback player of the year.
Yeah, and one other thing too, if you don't remember, we said dude, they always play each other so close. I've talked about this. Rams
So
and
close.
Seahawks. No matter how good the Rams are, no matter how bad the Rams are, no matter how good the Seahawks are, no matter how bad they are. So with Russell Wilson in his prime and the Rams at the bottom of their status, and at the opposite with the Rams at the top of their situation and the Seahawks kind of falling off, they always play each other tough. But still not giving me enough reason to bet on the Rams +6. I would take still the Seahawks -6 just because they have something to play for where the Rams don't. But I'm going to lean more towards the over-under just because I see them wanting to score points and not having defense. So,
Rams -6, Rams +6, book it. No, I'm playing. No, I really do like that though. I like the Rams. I'm going opposite on you on
I
this
like
one.
41.5. I mean, I see it being close, like I said. And that's why, just because it's a divisional close game every single time they play. Last game, Cowboys, Commanders. What's the playoff situation for the Cowboys?
Cowboys win. If the Eagles lose, they take over the NFC East, #1, so they get the home game as the possible first seed. And that's if the Niners lose and the Vikings lose and they beat the
So it's gonna be
Commanders and the Eagles lose to the Giants, then they would get the overall 1 seed technically. However, they're basically just playing for a home game in the postseason, so they're trying to get that, they're trying to win the division.
tough.
So they're going to go
when
hard.
The Eagles lose and they win.
And because they've slated them at the same time again, they won't know during the game until the very end. So they're going to be rolling out their starters and trying their best to end with a win.
Yeah, so if I had to pick, I'd go under 41 just because I don't believe in the Commanders' offense, Carson Wentz. I mean, if they have Heineke in there, maybe they have a better chance of scoring points, but the Cowboys' defense too good.
Who'd the Cowboys play last week?
The Cowboys play.
I was super surprised on how many points they gave up, and for some reason I'm drawing a blank. It wasn't a team that they would normally have done this with either. It was like they gave up so
Tennessee.
many. The Titans.
No, they scored 13 points. It's not that much. It was Dobbs moving the ball a little bit in the first half, and then he got eaten up in the second half.
Okay, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. What was it before the Eagles? That's what it was. The Eagles and Minshew
Yeah,
put
scored
up 34 points on them. So, yeah, that was suspect. But okay, that makes sense now. The Commanders are actually going back with Heineke, I heard.
Okay.
So that kind of changes things from an offensive standpoint to me, if that's the case, because I believe Heineke is a lot more efficient than Wentz. No.
Yeah, but at the same time, the Cowboys' defense is just way too good. So
agree.
Heineke not having anything to play for, it's gonna be tough for him to morale.
Yeah, no,
he's a
I'm
locker room
actually,
guy.
I'm actually with you here on the under. The only thing that scares me for teams that are playing for seeding or division or whatever, they really like to start off hot. So these are games that I actually am very, very fond of taking a team over in the first half. Those are like my favorite time to bet, team over in the first half when it comes down to, hey, we could potentially get a better seed. And then they want to be able to take that mini bye in a sense. They want to try and relax and cool out. So I like taking the team over in the first half. And then at halftime, I actually like taking the opposite team and taking whatever points I'm getting
Okay.
for like a mini backdoor cover type of a scenario. You know what I mean? But yeah, so I like your pick under overall 41,
And then Cowboys.
and
-7
the
if I had to.
Cowboys -7 if I had to. Yeah, absolutely agree with that.
All right, last game: Lions versus Packers. Lions on the road. Packers favored by 4.5. Over under set 49. What's the playoff situation for the Lions? Packers obviously winning,
So,
get in.
yep, Packers win, they're in. Lions need some help. They need the Seahawks to lose to the Rams. So
Just
by
doesn't look
the
good.
end of this, by the end of the 4 o'clock games, 1 o'clock games, I should say, by around 4:30, maybe 5 o'clock, the Lions will officially know, hey, we're playing for spoiler or we're playing to fuck around and get into the playoffs. And I think that's why I can kind of see the Rams upsetting the Seahawks, just to make that game that much more explosive. 49 points is a lot, especially considering the first time they played. What was it, 19-15 you said, or 19-13?
Yeah,
Very low scoring affair.
15-7 or something like that.
Yeah, very low scoring affair. However, that was also in a dome. That was also when the Packers offense was just lost. Things have changed. Packers offense is starting to go nuts. Not nuts, but they're efficient now. Aaron Rodgers is getting some time to throw the ball. The running backs are both performing. However, it just seems to be more of a slow-paced type of game. And so with 49 points, that's a lot of points. You know, that's too high. 7 touchdowns combined. I like the under of 49 points. I also, believe it or not, I like the plus 4.5 for the Lions. And the reason that my theory comes into play, it's like, if they find out they have a chance, they're pedal to the metal, and they've been keeping up with every team in the league. Every team in the league. Eagles, I mean, you name it. So I think if they have a reason to play, they're 100% covering that spread. I wouldn't be surprised if they fuck around and win the game. On the side note, if they have nothing to play for, that takes a lot of pressure off Goff, who hasn't been the most efficient in primetime either. No, he's not as bad as like a Carson Wentz or a Kirk Cousins, but he's also not the greatest primetime guy, you know? This is why the Rams cut their ties with him. So with that being said, taking all that pressure off them, that also kind of puts me in a position where it's like, fuck, dude, they might fuck around and backdoor cover late, or even keep up the whole game, and the Packers finally pull away when they need to with the late Aaron Rodgers drive. So either way, I like the 4.5. I think this game ultimately comes down to a field goal by Cosby late, or a defensive score by the Packers late. You know what I'm saying? When they're trying to stop them on D, maybe a 3rd and 12, and they're trying to kill the clock, and maybe a pick 6 type of play. I just see a Packers scoring late to win the game.
Yeah, I just want to shout out Jay Roche. He's a huge Packer fan. His whole family, they love the Packers, and Sergio, Chiefs, obviously.
Relax.
My thoughts on this game is that if the Lions have something to play for, it changes everything.
It does.
I don't think they're going to play spoiler against Aaron Rodgers' divisional game. The Packers are just way too good at home, in the weather, at Lambeau. The reason why I'm going over, obviously, I'm going a little bit against the grain just because Jared Goff isn't really that good in the cold on the road. But he is also playing for comeback player of the year as well, you know, with his stats. Their offense is gearing as if they're going to have to play. So whether they do or not, say they don't have to, say the defense is where they might be laxed a little bit, being like, whatever. And they want to score points. They want to show out. And basically what the Lions' strong suit is being able to score. So given the fact that this is where the Green Bay thrives at home in Lambeau in the cold, they should score some points. Lions are going to try to score points just to keep up with them, just to keep in the chase. And if they have something to play for, that's where I could see it really being a low-scoring game where the defense really shows up. But as far as the early projections, I see the Lions not having anything to play for. Goff trying to just show face and score a couple of points just to get his stats up, and then Packers score a bunch of points just to get in.
So here's the thing, like, going against Aaron Rodgers in Lambeau this time of year, you're out of your mind. You're out of your mind. We talked about it off air, money line all day. You know what I mean? I still think they edged this one out. But there's a couple things that kind of fucked me up. So if you guys remember on this same show maybe 5-6 weeks ago, I predicted that the Lions would somehow make it to playoffs. I was like, I know this sounds nuts. They've won 6 out of 7 games since I said that. I just have this weird feeling like they're moving the ball. Now Aaron Rodgers says destiny. You know, pound relax. All bullshit aside, Justin, relax, right? They almost feel like it's destiny. So many things had to come into play 3 weeks ago in order for it to even be a winning you're in scenario for them. And there's no too big of a moment for Aaron Rodgers. So again, you'd be out of your mind to think that they drop this game at home in front of their fans when they win and get in scenario. But when you talk about teams in their matchups, Sly, he's a sick ass DB, bro. And you're now taking out their number one receiver, which I don't even know if you want to consider that as to be Dobbs or Watson or I guess Randall Cobb maybe. The passing game's
Lazard and Watson.
The passing game's gonna be a little fucked up.
Yeah.
Now, Aaron Jones has been hampered by injury, but then he ripped off 111 yards on his 13 carries last week. A.J. Dillon's been balling, so I think that their run game will keep them pushing. This is why my theory on the under makes sense. To me, I should say, not makes sense, but this is why I like the theory of the under. I think they're going to rely on the run heavy. I think that will kill the clock. I think that Detroit's defense matches up very well with the Packers, and that's why they only put up 5 points, 9 points, whatever the fuck it was last time they played each other. I think the Packers are going to struggle to score more than they're accustomed to, and I think the Packers' defense has been balling lately.
Yeah, Jair Alexander
I
in
mean,
the gritty last week, I think.
Balling. I mean, took him out the game, bro, and predicted he would. I'm not letting fucking Jay Jetta do shit on me, and that was a fluke. My guy had one catch in like the third quarter. So it's definitely, you know, you're a fool to not pick the Packers in this game. But something's telling me, and something, I'm getting this feeling, this urgency of like, yo, be careful, bro. They could fuck around and win and get in, and they fuck around and drop the ball. So
One thing I want to say is the Packers lose this game. Goodbye Aaron Rodgers. Goodbye Packers franchise and dynasty. So
I mean, let's face it, man. Aaron Rodgers is a baller, but they haven't really put together the right team for that man since the start, bro. They really haven't, bro. Like getting rid of Devontae Adams and giving him nothing in return. I mean, bro. I mean, they gave him Randall Cobb back. I mean, come on, my guy. You know what I mean? It's like, sure, they've held on to Aaron Jones. In my opinion, never really done what they were supposed to do with Aaron Jones. Although A.J. Dillon is more than capable, again, they just never really gave Aaron Jones an opportunity to be like the next Kamara.
free Aaron Jones, bro.
Yeah, free Jones has always been a thing, right? So we'll see, man. Shout out to Sergio, man. Yes, man, your Chiefs are definitely fortunate based upon these circumstances, man. Real quick, you guys, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, save my ass some time from shooting y'all text messages. It will give you a notification when we go live or when we drop a short. Don't forget, Out Onside Kicking It's on all platforms. That's Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and of course, YouTube's Truly. At Sick as Fool, again, just opened up a YouTube channel, at Sick as Fool. Catch his fucking Pitbull doing fucking skateboard tricks. Catch this dude doing the same shorts that I post. For all you guys that know my shorts that we post on my YouTube channel. So check us out on all platforms, bottom line. At Sick as Fool's also on Instagram. So is I am Ghost_AF. I'm also on Twitter, you know, etc. Man, you know where to find us.
And I just want to say, we appreciate you guys. It's been a long season. We're about to gear into playoffs. A couple weeks left, but we want to thank you guys for coming out with us each and every week and spending time with us. And
yeah, schedule's gonna stay.
So yeah,
Schedule's gonna stay as is for now. But 100%, man, we appreciate having an audience to talk to. Sometimes only a few of you guys on. Sometimes we got a pretty decent crowd. I know a lot of you guys got a lot of shit going on, so a lot of you guys bounce on and off at times. We just want to say we appreciate it so much, man. We love talking sports, and the fact that you guys are here to engage with us and make it more of a fun experience for us, man. We definitely are appreciative of that. Speaking of content, what have you, end of football season, we do both have collectively, but also a solo mission on certain things that we're going to start posting content-wise. I will be opening a new YouTube channel, which is going to be completely different than sports entirely, and I'll go over that in more detail. AJ is going to be doing the same scenario where it's going to be something completely different than sports. We'll give you a little sneak peek when we're a little bit more close to launching, and then we'll also, of course, still do our collabs because that's what we do, bro. We've known each other since '98, and this is a brother to me. It's been one hell of a regular season. Excited for postseason, and
congrats, almost champ. We'll talk about that when we talk about what gets resolved. We don't have enough time.
Almost champ.
Yeah.
Steelers will make the playoffs. Book it.
Later.